Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the Online Series 9 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. In the last episode, we used this really fun rain team featuring Life Orb Kingdra, Helping Hand Parasol Politoed, Citrus, Support Luxray, Choice Specs Moltres, and more. So we'll be playing a couple more games with it today. Details for the team are in the description below, and there is a rental and a paste. And so yeah, it's definitely a really interesting team. I think it's probably not the most consistent team if you're looking to climb the ladder right now, but it certainly has a lot of fun tricks up its sleeve. And of course, I wanted to feature it because it has this Luxray. So yeah, I just went on a pretty rough losing streak between the last episode and today, so hopefully it can snap out of it. It was just a string of games where basically like everything went wrong, so it took a little bit of time to mentally refresh, and now I'm back recording today. But thank you to you all as always for watching. Before we get started, today's episode is sponsored by the Ridge. The Ridge makes some really awesome lifestyle products ranging from phone cases to backpacks, and their most popular product, as you may have seen on this channel before, is the Ridge wallet. It's a super minimalistic wallet that's able to fit up to 12 cards between these two metallic plates. There's also a band or strap for cash here in the back, and it's super easy to use. You slide out your cards using this little indent here, pull out whatever you need, and slide back as such. I've been using this nonstop for over a year now, as you may have seen on the channel, but if you don't believe me, there are over 40,000 5-star reviews for this product. There's also free shipping and free returns within 45 days. You can always try one, decide you don't like it, send it back and get your money back within 45 days, and there's a lifetime warranty. I'm currently on their website at rich.com/VGC. By the way, use code VGC for 10% off your next order, and as you can see, it comes in all kinds of different materials and colors. This is my personal favorite one. It's the carbon fiber one, but as you see, it comes in titanium and aluminum as well. And so yeah, really love the Ridge, and they also make some awesome products outside of just their wallets, including their line of backpacks and duffel bags. I personally use the weatherproof classic backpack as well as the Ripstop commuter backpack all the time. So I've listed my favorite products from the Ridge down in the description below. Thank you so much to them for continuing to support the channel, and yeah, I hope you check them out, because as I always say, I would not try to sell you a product or a company that I didn't believe in, and I'm happy to say that I really have been using the Ridge's products nonstop since getting them. Alright, getting things started. Togekiss. Togekiss Dragapult, that's a fun throwback. Metagross, Urshifu, Incineroar. I think Togekiss Pult is probably the scariest thing that my opponent can lead right now. Now, this Moltres is very specially defensive, so that could be pretty physically defensive. So this could be very valuable into Dragapult specifically for, like, you know, powerful Fiery Wrath, for example. I mean, I'm really scared about Togekiss plus Dragapult, right? So, like, I'm thinking of leading Moltres Politoed, Kingdra. If we can eliminate Togekiss, like, Kingdra really just goes hard here, right? Although, max speed Gieleki still outspeeds us. That's one of the things. Gieleki is just so fast. And I think I want Rillaboom just for Grassy Glide damage in this game. Because, like, yes, most of my opponent's Pokemon resist it, but, like, Dragapult's not the bulkiest Pokemon. Grassy Terrain Boosted Glide will still do a sizable amount into it, so we'll see. Either way, thanks so much as always for watching Road to Rank, and thank you to the Ridge for sponsoring today's video. If you enjoy, please share support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. And let's get started. This team is definitely really fun. I don't think it's the most consistent. Like, I played a couple of warm-up games and just practice games with the team in general, and I think a lot of, like, very meta stuff is pretty good into it right now, right? Like stuff like Grimmsnarl, for example. So it's Togekiss plus Dragapult. That is the lead I was expecting. Now, I can go for Helping Hand Fiery Wrath turn 1, which is very interesting. The alternative is just, like, I don't know if Helping Hand Specs Hurricane knocks out Togekiss. Like, I honestly don't think it does. So I'm actually leaning more towards Helping Hand Fiery Wrath turn 1. I'm down for that. I don't think it KOs Dragapult, but it'll do a lot. This is where if we had Muddy Water on Kingdra, these would be a little bit more valuable. Redirection is definitely a little tough, right? Because, like, with Kingdra and Rain, you already don't do that much damage with Kingdra, so the goal really is to find the things that you can pick up one-hit KOs onto. But Moltres being very bulky here is good for us. Best case scenario would be them going for, like, a Phantasm onto Politoed turn 1. Like, Protect Phantasm. That would be great to see. Either way, Helping Hand Fire Rats, like, you know, I don't think it one-shots Dragapult, but if it did, that would be super awesome. I feel like Togekiss should go for Follow Me here, right? Okay. And I'm very glad I went for the Fiery Wrath now. And they go for Airstream. That's like the best case scenario, honestly. Because, yeah, we don't even take that much damage. Now the thing is, Phantasm will probably KO us this next turn. But we get a lot of damage off here. I'm honestly curious how much this does to Dragapult. Okay. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, though, it'll take another Life Orb proc. I think 2 life... Like, now you probably go for follow... I mean, it might just ally switch again. I could actually max Moltres here. They're gonna Wormwind right now into us for sure. I actually think maxing here might be the play. I'll Airstream into Togekiss and Scald into Dragapult to distribute my damage. But the thing is that we have actually a pretty good early lead in terms of damage distribution. By maxing here, I don't even think Wormwind into Dazzling Gleam's enough to KO. So this is like a unique scenario where normally you don't max Moltres with this team, but it actually, I think, makes a lot of sense right now. Just because, once again, our goal is ideally to just pick up 2 knockouts. I'm not sure we really need the Kingdra max in this endgame. Yep, so there's max Wormwind. Okay, beautiful. That activates Berserk as well, which is also good for us. I guess the only fear now is if Dazzling actually manages to pick up the knockout, assuming they have it. That'd be pretty scary. Yeah, Dragapult faints from 1 more Life Orb proc. There's Dazzle. Nice. Okay, Moltres hangs on. Huge. They get the crit onto Politoed, but that's fine. I don't think this KOs, right? No, but that's very, very good damage. I could have doubled up on Togekiss here, but I don't mind knocking out Dragapult just because it's the max option, right? And since they didn't go for another Airstream, my Moltres is going to outspeed now onto Togekiss, which is good. I can't max guard, though. That's the only issue, but I think this was worth maxing, more so from a defensive standpoint than from an offensive standpoint, because if I don't max there, I do just lose the Moltres. And the thing is, while I could get a Scald off to KO the Dragapult, okay, Aleki comes out. I mean, that's still not great to see. But I think it's okay, because now this is where I can go into Rillaboom. Actually, yeah, this is perfect. Go into Rillaboom and Protect. You're probably thinking, hey, you only got... Well, okay, wait. Do we outspeed Aleki at +1? I don't think so, right? No, we have no speed investment on this thing. Even at +2, we wouldn't. But I'm down to go out Moltres now into Rillaboom and Protect Poly. And this is why I brought Rillaboom in the first place, right? So now I pressure with Fake Out next turn. So this is an interesting example of a game where we only got 1 max turn off, but that 1 max turn off alone was worth it, in my opinion. AV Rillaboom, very good against Regieleki, really one of the best Pokemon we could have against it. So yeah, even if my opponent like reads into this switch, it's not even that bad. But I think like Electro Web, Dazzling Gleam here makes a lot of sense. And now we're in a pretty good spot going into the next turn, because I can just Fake Out the Aleki Skull Togekiss. Yep, so there's Web. Either way, man, Helping Hand Fire Red did so much turn 1, so that was awesome to see. And Glee, perfect. I could just Glide here as well. I kind of want to do that, actually. But it could be Sash Aleki, which is my one fear. Okay, I'm down to just Fake Out into Aleki here. Scald into Togekiss. What would they have in the back, I guess, is the question. Incineroar? No, would you really bring Incineroar out into this matchup? Probably not. They had a Metagross, right? Grimmsnarl, Fini. Okay, Aleki switches out. That's fine with me. Into Incineroar. Okay, yeah, it was Incin. Wow, interesting. But the thing is now, we just switch Rillaboom out and back in. I could have gone Fake Out into Kiss now. Scald into Aleki. Okay, they do have to Protect, Ally, switch Dazzle. Interesting. Yeah, that's fine, though. Mainly because if you're my opponent right now, you don't really have that good damage output. You can't change my terrain either. And Politoed's just waiting to click the Parasol button. We're also faster than Incineroar with Politoed, because we had that speed boost, yeah, which is good. So here I'm actually down to just go for Grassy Glide onto the Togekiss and a Scald into it. This Politoed has a lot of special defense investment, so I would think we could actually even take an attack from the Regieleki, but the goal here is to just knock out Togekiss this turn to bring it down to 4-2. Then what I can do is protect Politoed, switch Rillaboom back out to reset the Intimidate, and then just go for Glide. Oh, that's cheeky. Okay, I maybe should have considered that possibility, but I still get a lot of damage onto the Incineroar slot, like, with this combo. It's rain-boosted Scald, so, like, it's not really that bad for us. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of damage. They're probably parting Shotting here, then, I would think, which is a pretty interesting play. No, they just go Flare Blitz. Okay. Into Rillaboom, but Rain is up, so that's definitely not KOing us. Yeah, I don't mind that too much. Sure, that works for me. Rain is gone, though, now. The Incineroar is not going to have Protect, right? Although Flare Blitz now is going to KO the Rillaboom, which is scary. We still have Kingdra in the late game, by the way, too, so that's good. But I think we do want to conserve this Rillaboom because it's our best answer against Regieleki, so I'm down to switch out into Moltres now, sacrifice that, and Scald into the... I'm down to Scald into Incineroar because Togekiss has revealed Protect, but Incineroar basically never carries Protect. And while we're probably not going to KO with Scald, that's fine. We don't necessarily need a knockout. And if we can bait Togekiss protecting here, that's great. Alright, they just go for Ally Switch again, but that also works for me. That's why I always wanted to Scald into Incineroar, because it covers for the Ally Switch option. So, like, the thing is, now it is going to be 3v2, right? But I have Rillaboom, so I can just bring Rillaboom. Oh, I guess I can't necessarily just go with Perish Song as the win combo, right? The question is if the Scald KO Incineroar from the range that it's at? I don't think so. Oh, but Scald plus Flare Blitz certainly will, right? Like, okay, obviously I can bring in Rillaboom right now. I could also switch Poly out to get the weather back up. Wait, hold on, that doesn't seem like a terrible play. No, but this thing's gonna spam Electro Web. Also, like, we should survive an Electric type attack from this thing. So the play I'm actually leaning towards right now is... I think the safest place to fake out a Regieleki here and Scald into Incineroar. Because Incineroar, I think, would faint from Scald plus the recoil damage from Flare Blitz. Okay, they don't protect the Regieleki, which is good. That breaks a potential Sash, which is actually really essential for us here. Scald KO's game's over, but I think Incine's going to hang on. But I think it should KO itself from recoil now, as it Flare Blitzes into Rillaboom, so that's what I'm hoping for. If it survives, that could be an issue for us. But it's so low, there's no way, right? Okay, perfect. Good. Only scary thing now is that Kingdra can miss its attacks. Yeah. I didn't feel super safe with the Perish Trap, Perish Song endgame here. If I went Rillaboom, I could have gone Fake Out a Regieleki, Perish Song, but then I'm on a timer and then I don't KO the... maybe it was better, actually. You should always think about Perish Song as your endgames with this team, and I don't know if I gave it enough thought here. Okay, we can protect right now. Draco is our highest accuracy attack, so Draco into a Regieleki. Electro Web's never going to pick up a double KO. The only way I could see... I don't feel the need to protect here. I think we can just Scald, because Scald should also be a 2-hit KO onto a Regieleki. The only fear is if they... Okay, it's Rising Voltage. That's fine. To Poly. And we survive. Okay, great. So now even if we miss Draco, I think it should still be a win. But just wanted to play this as safe as possible because I didn't see the Regieleki item, right? So want to assume I'll cover for like Choice Specs Regieleki potentially. Scald does a lot there. He even gets the burn, which is quite nice, and Draco is also going to connect here. So nice. That was a really, really good match. I think ultimately, you know, what was huge was just the turn one. Choice Specs Galarian Moltres was phenomenal here for us, and this was just a really interesting match where I like intentionally maxed Moltres despite it being not having Protect and not being the best max option with this team because it just felt appropriate, right? Because we accelerated the game a lot quicker. Now my opponent made some nice plays, you know, turn one worked out really well for us. I was expecting Follow Me, but you know, I think you do have to follow me in that position because you have to cover for Life Orb, Moltres, like Helping Hand, Max Darkness. So follow me or Ally Switch. Like, I didn't feel like I was going to take damage from Togekiss on turn 1. And to chunk Dragapult for as much as we did to start off, the game was obviously really, really good. So that was the value of bulky Specs Moltres. Taking that attack, maxing in retaliation afterwards, and getting a lot of damage off across the board. Felt like the game should have been over as soon as we knocked out Dragapult, but, you know, the Incineroar coming in and then the Ally Switch making it so that I didn't pick up the knockout as quickly as I did meant that I couldn't just go for a Perish Song endgame super, super easily. But in the end, things worked out pretty well for us. That speed boost onto the Politoed, also very essential because it allowed us to just outspeed and get some nice Scalds off as well. So, yeah, really, really interesting match there. And I think this is a good example of why you want to play flexible in VGC. Like, yes, with this team, you're going to Dynamax Kingdra like 90% plus of the time, but in this game, like, it actually put us in a winning position to max the Galarian Moltres. And if we didn't max Moltres, we'd actually be in pretty bad shape, right? Because then the Moltres would have just went down for nothing. I guess they didn't go for Follow Me with Togekiss that turn, so I could have just ended up going for Scald onto the Dragapult slot. That would have picked up the knockout, and then Kingdra actually would probably win that endgame anyway at that point. But I think one thing to expect from my opponent is Max Wormwind knocking out Moltres from the range that we were at, and then Togekiss going for Follow Me. If you do that, then you get a knockout, and I have to switch something in, and Dragapult gets a third max move off. And so by maxing there, it just covered for Follow Me, and making sure that they couldn't pick up a KO. If they went for Follow Me, Togekiss would have fainted to the double up. Yeah, so then we still would have been in a pretty good spot. So definitely an interesting match to kick things off, but let's look for the next game here. All right, second game of the day, and Mimikyu, Metagross, Grimm, Zapdos, Fini, Mamo. I mean, a lot of things we don't really like to see here. This is like a terrible matchup for Luxray, so unfortunately can't really bring it out here today. I'm glad at least like yesterday we got to bring Luxray out into all 3 games, but it is a nightmare matchup for it here. The only value would be to use it into Tapu Fini. That's basically it. If it's Shadow Sneak Mimikyu into Policy Metagross, I think I'm in a lot of trouble. Like a lot of trouble. How do I even beat that? I'm thinking we go Rillaboom, Moltres, Kingdra, but I don't know in what order. Against Grimmsnarl, like I like to go Rillaboom Kingdra to fake out Geyser at turn 1 and then glide it next turn before he can get any screens up. But if I go Rilla Kingdra here into Mimikyu plus Metagross, it's kind of a disaster. Our Moltres also doesn't have that much speed investment. It barely has any. So like I'm really nervous about Mimikyu Metagross. I'm leaning towards Poly. Okay, let's try Poly Moltres. Because I can Helping... It's like the same play as the last game. Helping Hand and Fiery Rat turn 1. Okay. And if they lead Mamo, I can pivot Moltres out. Who can I pivot Moltres out into? The Pokemon I brought are at both Ice Week. I can't. I don't know what the best lead here is, and I think my opponent can counter a lot of the combinations that I could bring, so there's no super, super safe answer here, but that's okay. It's going to be Grimm Zapdos. Okay. How do I feel about this? Not great. I mean, Zapdos is super strong into us. At least I have Kingdra in the back. I honestly straight up turn 1 want to go for like Helping Hand Hurricane onto this thing. You have to be a little bit respectful of Policy Moltres, right? We have to stall out Zapdos' Dynamax turn 1. I mean, in this game, that's for sure. I honestly think they might target Politoed here, so I'm going to protect on Hurricane. Like, my opponent had so many good Pokemon that were strong into us. Zapdos alone is not exactly the best matchup, but as always, even if it's not an amazing matchup, you can definitely win with good play. It's just scary because I don't have a safe option here turn 1. Yeah, this doesn't feel great. I go for Protect and Hurricane, but I'm hoping they... Actually, I think you always just Lightning into the Moltres, to be honest, because Politoed's not applying any offensive pressure. So what I could have done was switch Moltres out into Rillaboom, Protect Poly turn 1. I actually think that's the better play because our goal should be to stall out Dynamax right now. But like, I don't even know what the best lead into Zapdos was here. Light Screen would make a lot of sense. Oh, okay, they do go for Fake Tears. That normally makes me think it's okay, and they Airstream, yeah. Nice. Alright, that worked out really well then, all things considered. Although we wouldn't even survive. I could have actually gotten the Helping Hand Hurricane off onto Grimmsnarl. Now the debate is, do I want to max Moltres this next turn? I mean, Poly switching out here is super duper obvious, and I don't have a max Airstream switch in. Man, do I actually max the Moltres here? I like feel forced to. Wow, this is wild. I didn't think that we'd come down to a day where we like end up maxing Moltres twice, but like it just actually makes a lot of sense here in my opinion. I'm just gonna go for a double here. Yeah, I'm gonna max. I mean, Kingdra is such a good max option. Okay, they switch Grim out, which is a really good play. And to Fini. That's fine. I mean, the problem is right now Moltres is staring down two Pokemon that beat it really hard, right? But if I don't get the double protect, it's fine. You knock out Politoed, presumably I get a free switch into Rillaboom. But then it's still Rillaboom into Life Orb Zapdos. So maybe I don't want to go into Kingdra instead. I don't know. But like the problem is that like if my opponent didn't have Fini, Kingdra would be a clearer max option because it would just one-shot everything. But Fini alone is a really big counter into Kingdra. Not a direct counter. I mean, Kingdra can airstream it for like some damage, but it's not amazing. Okay, we go for the double. Don't get it. That's fine. They're gonna go for another airstream here. Yeah, I don't think I could have switched out here. But see, this is really interesting because Poly is actually bulky enough to survive. Whoa, okay. That's actually a huge component to this. We also eat up our berry. I mean, hey, our goal was to stall out my opponent's max, and in the end, this will actually have been pretty effective. Which is very good. Okay, we're gonna go for an airstream of our own onto Tapu Fini. Helping Hand airstream comes dangerously close to KOing, but I'm not sure it does. We also have Rillaboom in the back, right? So, like, it's not really that much of an issue. Lefty's Fini, okay. It's a really big deal that they kept fishing for these airstreams rather than lightnings, but it makes sense because they're trying to cover for me switching into Rillaboom basically at any given point in the game. Now, the protect this next turn is super duper obvious. Might still be worth going for. Yeah, honestly, I'm down to just protect here. And in this position, I think I'm down to max Darkness into Zapdos because Rillaboom will just obliterate the Fini and the Grimmsnarl in this endgame. They haven't seen my item yet. I don't know if they know it's Spexed. Yep, and they go for a third airstream. Nice play, though, targeting the protect. I wouldn't be surprised if Fini calm-minded here as well. That would be a really sweet play on their end. Let's see. Nicely done, nicely done. I walked into that. I could have Helping Hand airstreamed Fini or Helping Hand Darkness. Although Helping Hand airstream wasn't going to KO Fini anyway, so I don't think that actually gives us that much value. I don't really regret protecting there, quite frankly, but... yeah, here's the problem. We're not doing that much damage right now, right? Now my opponent can maybe double up onto Moltres this next turn. Although I have Scald, and if Zapdos is eliminated, that paves the way for Rillaboom in the endgame. The other big question is what my opponent's last Pokemon is. Zapdos could also you could very easily double protect right now. But if they double protect, what I can do is go for an airstream. I would consider protecting Zapdos in this position. It's like they could protect or they could just target Politoed down right now, right? Depends on what they have in the back, too. I'm doubling up on a Zapdos. I don't think that's the right play, but I couldn't figure out what to do with Politoed. Whoa. They have Roost. Wow, it's Life Orb Zapdos with Roost. Did not see that one coming, truth be told. I don't know if this KOs Politoed, though. Let's see. Oh, Poly is so clutch. Okay, no special defense drop. This might have actually been the best outcome if this double up can actually KO the Zapdos. I think it will. Wow. That actually went a lot better than I expected. That's huge. It just really, like, the problem is that Rillaboom is really weak to Mamo and Metagross, although it actually does pretty well into Mamo because of the Glide, but I was not expecting Roost Zapdos, but this ended up actually being even better. Like, I'm really, really glad I doubled up into it. But this game is still far from over, right? Like, Fini's still boosted. Now, I do have Kingdra in the end. I don't think you bring out Grimmsnarl. I think you bring out whatever your last Pokemon is. Mamoswine would make the most sense. Yeah, it is Mamo. Okay, so what we know is that my opponent doesn't have any grass resist. Now, you should assume Sash Mamo. We're at +1 speed. This thing doesn't have any speed boosts. It's the last turn of rain, and this thing has 2 speed boosts. So I want to switch Politoed out into Rillaboom, but it's a little bit risky. It's just Rillaboom is our win condition here. If we get any damage onto Mamoswine, a Glide will just KO it. So on one hand, it's like I feel compelled to switch Politoed out, but on the other hand, I kind of want both of these in the back. Wait, or I could just protect this thing. I didn't think about that as an option. Okay, I'm actually down to protect... Oh, I'm locked into Hurricane, right? That's fine, protect Hurricane. Because we outspeed Mamo, so if Mamo gets any damage onto it, Glide's just going to KO it. My fear now is +1 Moonblast KOs Moltres, which is a likely possibility, actually. Let's see. Ah, it's enough. Okay, that's not good. Given that they Ice Shard, I just really didn't want to switch Politoed out into a Moonblast, but if I had gone into Rillaboom there, sacrifice Moltres, then get Poly back in, or Kingdra, yeah. That will probably cost us the game. Unfortunately, Moltres wasn't clutch enough to survive that one, but that's okay. Can't fault it. Okay, hold on. It's not over, though, right? We can go into Rillaboom. I have to go into Rillaboom, right? I can't go into Kingdra. It's just the item on the Mamoswine. I don't know what it is. Like, if it's not Sash, Rillaboom actually does just win this for us in the end game. Oh, what are you? What item are you? I don't know. I mean, here, I protected last turn. Like, I lean towards just Scald Mamo and Fake Out into it. The thing is, if Mamo is Sash here, it might protect, meaning I could Glide into Fini. But I'm hoping they don't protect. I get the Fake Out, and even if you're Sash, Glide KOs you. That is a smart play. They protect Mamo here, right? They didn't protect! Okay. Oh my gosh, this is a really intense match. Oh, not enough for a KO. Burn? No burn. Oh my gosh, this game is crazy. So here's the thing. Now if you're my opponent, you can pivot Grim back out into Tapu Fini. Like, what I want to do is switch Rillaboom out and Scald into Mamo. I might have made my moves too quickly there. But if they switch into Fini and we Scald KO Mamo, we win. Man, Poly has not been clutch in getting any burns. Oh, they have Fake Out. Okay. Wait, but are they doubling up onto... that? Okay. Nice. Okay. Now we have Rillaboom for the end game. Oh my gosh, this game is wild. Nice. Well, either way, like, I was thinking they were just going to switch out into Fini. That way you change terrain and you KO with Ice Cold Crash, but the play they made also makes a lot of sense. I mean, the reality now is that Rillaboom should win in this endgame. That's what I was setting myself up for this entire time. I also have Perish Song. It's just scary because Kingdra can miss his attacks. I don't think Scald's KOing Grim anyway. So I think our best play here, because we have AV Rillaboom, is to just Perish Song. Yeah. Like, I think here it's fine to just go Perish Song. If we outspeed Grim and they don't have speed control on the Grim and Hydro Pump KOs. Like Rillaboom in itself should win this endgame theoretically. It's really huge the Mamoswine didn't protect at any point, though. Okay, Grim doesn't go for any priority, and yeah, Politoed actually just gets the Perish Song off. Okay. Okay, Hydro Pump connects. Yeah, that's game over, I think. We didn't need Perish Song in this endgame, but I wanted to set myself up for it. Yeah. Yeah, there's no way you can beat Rillaboom now. Oh, that was a doozy of a match. I mean, hey, today's the perfect example of why you should just keep your options open once again. I just, like, didn't see a good like, part of the Dynamaxes in both of these games was that I was never in a position to safely max the, Kingdra without losing too much as a result. So I needed to figure out how to trade evenly or, like, play to a point where I don't dig myself into too big of a hole. Part of the problem often is if you Dynamax too late, you need to figure out when to Dynamax in this game, right? Because if you do it too late, and your opponents just gain too much momentum, like, it's very difficult to come back from the game, right? So in the end, we didn't need Perish Song. I could have actually just gone for, because we had a speed boost on Toad, right? Yeah, so I didn't even think about that. Either way, this Politoed hung on for way longer than I expected it to. And the fact they just doubled up on the Politoed and I got that free Scald off into Mamo and then just KO'd it in 2 hits was a really big deal. I don't know the item on it, but I think you should typically assume Focus Sash. It's just the most consistent item on it by far, especially because Rillaboom is in the format, right? So, yeah, both of these matches today have been super interesting because when I first saw this team, I was like, oh yeah, you're probably not gonna Dynamax Moltres very frequently, but in both of these, it just ended up being the right decision given like the scenarios we were in. So yeah, I mean, I think one thing that was really critical in that game was my opponent kind of kept going for these Airstreams onto Politoed. They never went for Max Lightnings onto Moltres. That's the other fun thing about Moltres. Like, it is really bulky, so players will typically play a little bit scared of it. But a lot went right for us in that game, right? They kept Airstreaming into Politoed, so they didn't get that much mileage out of their Zapdos Max, because Zapdos is really, really good into the team comp we're using. So, 1, they didn't pick up too many KOs with the Zapdos, and 2, they had Roost, right? They didn't have Protect on the Zapdos, so we were actually able to survive the Moonblast from the Fini and then knock out Zapdos, and so, like, that also gave us a better shot at winning this game. But this is an example of, like, not the best matchup. A lot had to go right for us to win, but this is why, even if it doesn't look amazing on paper, you still want to play towards your routes. So, yeah, that was really intense, but let's get into the third match today. All right, last match of the day, and ooh, Rain Mirror. Rain Mirror, Rain Mirror, Rain Mirror. Okay, so for this game, man, our Kingdra isn't max speed, which is pretty scary. Their team is really cool, by the way, and they're ranked like top 100, so that's all really awesome to see. Huh. Oh, this is such a doozy. I don't think we bring Incineroar. I'm like down for Luxray. I just think Comfey Moltres is a really big problem. I think if they just go Comfey Moltres Kingdra, Fini, or Kingdra Poly, I am in a world of hurt, assuming it's Policy Moltres. Huh. I don't see a good answer here. I really don't. Rillaboom, Luxray, Kingdra, Poly. I don't know. This does not look like a good matchup, but I also can't figure out like what we can do to optimize our odds best here. So yeah, this should be an interesting one. It's really cool to see different takes on rain teams, right? Like you're typically gonna have Politoed Kingdra, but there's so much that you could support it with. I've seen Zapdos, Metagross, Cortana, Incineroar, Moltres, Comfey. A lot of cool things you can do. Yeah, it is Comfey Moltres, so they also identified that that was the best combo for them. What can I even do? I don't see an answer here. Comfey plus Moltres is just too good into us. Why did I even leave this? This just like wasn't very smart on my end, was it? I think what I needed to do was bring Luxray in the back and bait out an Airstream into a Luxray switch-in. Yeah, this is a disaster. I don't know. They're just gonna Draining Kiss, right? Max Airstream Rillaboom, presumably. Today is the day of crazy maxes, but I think we have to. I'm just gonna go Glide Max Lightning into Comfey turn 1. Try to eliminate that at least and set up the terrain so then Luxray can target the Moltres. But the thing is, I'm just gonna get hit by Max Dark. It's just the Luxray doesn't have that much offense, so we're not even going to KO this thing. Although, I could bring in Politoed for Helping Hand, Electric Terrain boosted Max Lightning, but I still don't think that's enough to knock out Galarian and Moltres. However, that's the best I can come up with right now. This is why like matchups are a big component of Pokemon, right? If you have a team that gives you an edge immediately, it's easier to play the game. And in this one, I just... In this specific matchup, like, I didn't see a good answer into Moltres plus... Comfey, because Moltres is just really offensive into us. We have to eliminate the Comfey first. Yeah, so there's Draining Kiss. You know, with a little bit of chip from Drain, I don't know. They also might just Max Darkness into Moltres, not Moltres, the what's it called? Luxray instead, right? I don't even know if this double up KOs. And they did Darkness too. Nicely done. Well, hey, Luxray actually didn't take that much there, so that's a positive, but I think with the special defense boost, another one will KO us now. Does this even KO? Okay, it does at least, so that's good. If Luxray can take another Max Darkness right now, this is actually potentially winnable based off, like, it felt like this is the play I had to make turn 1, right? Can't max guard the, yeah, can't max guard it. At least, like, I had to get rid of Comfey. It never makes sense to target Moltres turn 1, because if you do, I set up the Grassy Terrain, so they can just heal themselves, right? There's Kingdra, yeah. I could switch Rillaboom out. But into what? If I go into Politoed, it would just help them out. Feels like I need to go into Kingdra. I wish I had Max Guard on Luxray right now, but yeah, I'm just going to go into Kingdra here. And Lightning into... I think I'm still going to Lightning into Moltres, even if it doesn't... I don't even know if like we'll survive the turn with Luxray. That's the main problem here. I feel like Max Darkness probably KOs us, but I don't know. Liquidation! Whoa. Yeah, this is why I wish I really had Max Guard. I don't know, maybe they Airstreamed into, but it's gotta be Darkness, right? Oh! Alright, I'm not saying there's a chance, but that is exactly what I needed them to do. Okay. But also Liquidation Kingdra, whoa. How much does Max Lightning do? Electric Terrain boosted. Oh, that's not enough. And I just activated Berserk. Okay, but I think this is doable. Because if their last one is actually Politoed or Fini, like what I can do is go into Poly here, protect Poly. Rillaboom then can KO with a Glide onto Moltres. So I'm just going to protect here. And go for another Light. I wonder if Lightning would have KO'd Kingdra there, but I don't think so. And I like don't get other good damage onto Moltres anyway, right? So, by the way, it makes sense the way they're playing because you do want to cover for Luxray having Protect, right? Like, you don't want to just double up into it, give me a free switch in. Yeah, so there's Liquidation. That's going to KO in the rain, right? Oh, it doesn't. Okay. Wait, I actually could have straight up attacked with Politoed here, but they double up into... Wow, okay, wait, hold on. This Luxray is actually putting in work right now. Like, if their last one is Politoed, our Rillaboom can win this game. This is wild. This is absolutely wild. Alright, there's Moltres down. Okay. Fini. Even if it's Fini, I mean, Rillaboom, it should be Fini, yeah. So they went with the 4 I expected them to, but hey, now we've actually put ourselves in a place where we have this late game Rillaboom. Okay. Like, every turn has gone right for us so far, and this is still scary. That's just the reality of the scenario. Now, I have Parasol on Politoed. I don't really see any point in going for a Scald, so I'm down to just Parasol in this position. I guess I could Helping Hand Wild Charge, and we should Wild Charge into Kingdra, right? Because Rillaboom's going to finish it. Rillaboom's going to win against Fini. They're going to Liquidation into Politoed. Yeah, I don't think they can beat the Poly at this point. I actually could have just gone Helping Hand Wild Charge, and they go for Muddy. Poly dodges it. That's a big double dodge. I mean, that actually just wins us the game straight up. But I think we were fine anyway, to be honest, because we had Rillaboom in the back. Oh my gosh. And there's the Parasol. Okay. I mean, this is, once again, I think today's episode is why you don't give up if the matchup looks bad. You can always find out clever ways to win. You just have to identify them. That was obviously a lucky double dodge, though, for sure. But I think we had it anyway, because like even if both the Muddy Waters connect, I just bring Rillaboom and I go Helping Hand Grassy Glide into Kingdra, and Fini's never going to win this 1v1 against Rillaboom. But now it's basically a guaranteed wrap. We can just Protect and... is it a guaranteed wrap, actually? If you're my opponent, what's your path to victory right now? I don't need to Protect this thing, right? We still have our Berry, too. No, we actually don't need to Protect. What we can do is just Scald and Glide. Yeah. I think my opponent's one path to victory. I don't know the Kingdra moveset, so the physical Kingdra was really interesting, but I think my opponent's one path to victory was what was their one path to victory? Their one path to victory was Muddy Water, Protect Kingdra, Muddy Water accuracy drop onto Rillaboom, and then I miss Glide onto Kingdra, and then I don't know the Kingdra moveset, so like I don't know if it has any other moves that can actually reliably knock out the Rillaboom, but yeah. Like I think both in this game and the previous one, like the surprise Dynamax worked in our favor, right? This is actually exactly what I was trying to go for when I was playing with Lapras yesterday, playing against Lapras yesterday. I just didn't accomplish it super well. But I'm really happy to have this episode. It's just wild. We got 3 games back to back where I ended up just Dynamaxing something that I didn't plan on maxing. Because in our time with this team, in the end, we actually Dynamax Kingdra less. Like, yesterday we played 3 games, right? Kingdra maxed in 2 of the 3. Luxray maxed in 1. We ended up maxing Kingdra twice, Luxray twice, and Galarian Moltres twice, which is really wild. So, yeah, I think like being flexible in your play, being creative in who you Dynamax and when is honestly a really good component to have in your skill set, right? And I think in all of these, like we also... This is why like team building is an important component, and why matchups are also an important component, right? Because it's like I had to work really hard to get those wins, and we just happened to run into some Pokemon that like this is why Rain isn't exactly the most dominant archetype right now, right? But these games also highlight how even if you're playing from behind or if you don't have the best matchup, you can find potentially game-winning plays, right? What was really big for us in that game was that, like, I knew that the target needed to be on Moltres, right? So if we eliminate that, Rillaboom at least has a better shot. They did go with what I thought was, like, the perfect 4 Pokemon for them, but we basically managed to call the turns correctly. So that was a really fun game, but it's still scary, right? You don't want to be in a position where you have to make every read correctly, because it's just really hard to consistently play like that. But when the matchup doesn't favor you, sometimes that is just how the cookie crumbles. So what a wild game. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode, so thank you so much as always for watching. Yeah, thank you to the Rage for sponsoring today's episode. Go check them out, linked in the description below. Thank you to you all as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. Alright, peace.